At one level, and the important level, it is terrific that Rudakubana has pleaded guilty. In doing so, he has avoided causing immense emotional turmoil for the victims of his crimes and the families of the victims. It would have been very difficult for them to go through protracted legal process, a court hearing, an adjudication, and appeals no doubt thereafter. But at another level, Rudakubana has robbed the public of having a very bright light shone on what went on in Southport, the events that led up to Southport and what happened thereafter. In particular, at a political level, what we need to know is how much did the authorities know about Rudakubana? When did they come to know that which they knew? And why was that not made known to the public? Lindsay Hoyle silenced Parliament in speaking about this for fear of sub judice. Actually, I think a lot could and should have been talked about in Parliament under the protection of privilege without risking any compromise of the trial, because we could have talked about the important public domain issues. And the public domain issues, just to summarise them, and I think which need a very bright light shone on them now that this court case is over, are as follows. Why was the identity of Rudakubana not made plain at day one? Why was he described as a Welshman when actually, whilst that may technically be true, in no colloquial sense would anyone describe him as a Welshman? He may have British citizenship, but the description of being a Welshman was, in my view, and I think most people listening to me would share this, was a deflection, trying to hide us from the truth of the fact that this man was second generation Rwandan, that there's some serious question marks over his own parentage and what his father, the provenance of his father and his own father's background. More particularly, when did he get radicalized? How did he become radicalized? When did the authorities know about his radicalization? When did they know that he was in possession of ricin and al-Qaeda workbooks? When did they become aware that there was a political motive to his killings? Why was that not made plain to the public? All these questions need answering. And there is one other lingering question which people have hinted at in the public domain. But does Keir Starmer have anything to do with Rudakubana's family? Is there something more sinister at play? Nigel Farage has described this as one of the biggest political cover-ups in history. Well, now that the risk of sub judice is over, I think it's incumbent on Nigel Farage to come clean about what it is that he knew, and other parliamentarians. In fact, Lindsay Hoyle, having forbidden debate about this in Parliament, should now be encouraging it, should be requiring it. There should be a national inquiry into what happened. There should also be a national inquiry into how it was that Keir Starmer was allowed to politicise the protests that took place afterwards, categorising everyone who had legitimate concerns about the Rudakubana case, legitimate concerns, categorising them as far right and effectively directing the criminal justice system to take them to task, with many people being arrested simply for what they said rather than anything that they did. There needs to be a big public explanation for what the hell went on with Rudakubana, the killings, and the political and criminal justice system thereafter. I hope that him pleading guilty will not allow the government to sidestep that issue. We should all be campaigning for it. And let's not, before I finish, forget Peter Lynch, who said a few hurty words to policemen, put a few ridiculous conspiracy theories up on a poster, was convicted to 2 years and 8 months in prison, and hanged himself in jail because of that. There is blood spilt in many more ways than one as a result of Rudakubana, and there must be a bright light shone on the events.